Before, we were really close.
Okay.
I mean, we used to play fight all the time, like siblings used to. Hang out all the time. I would follow her everywhere. She'd try to push me away, but we went to same high school, same elementary schools. We have the same parents, so we lived together. It was like any normal, regular family. There wasn't anything odd or different. My parents kind of sat me down and said, look, we believe that your sister is on drugs. And I didn't believe it because like I said, me and my sister were close and I knew like she would have told me. All I knew was the cops were coming over and they needed an updated picture of her. From what my parents had told me was she was gone and they had no idea where she was and they were scared. Like my parents really sheltered me, I guess, with it a lot. I didn't really know what was going on. All I knew was that my sister was running away. For some reason, she hated her family. But I didn't really know that she was behaving this way because of drugs. I mean, it's not something that, like, they'll have in school, like drugs 101.
Should.
Yeah, they really should. I mean, I knew what my parents were telling me, like it was drugs, and I didn't really understand that. So, I mean, and I started to see how it was affecting the friends that I had that were also doing some drugs, like nothing as heavy, at least that I knew. I didn't really know what you were doing, so it's like I saw them on drugs, and I was like, oh. And I saw the difference between other people, so I mean, that's where I put everything together. My friends, like I had other friends who were smoking pot and I pushed a lot of them away because I was very scared of losing them and I didn't want to know them because like I saw it as my sister was on drugs and she ran away and I thought, I guess it was going to be the same thing, so it affected my friendship with a lot of people. It affected me at home, like I had to do a lot more things, like I said. In my life, well, it changed it a lot more because I felt like I actually had to pick up the slack. Okay. I had to, there's my younger brother who was there, so I had to, take care of him. I hated because I knew, like I saw how it was destroying my family. And I hated the fact that she was putting our parents through that and that our brother was growing up not knowing his sister. Like I hated that part about it. I didn't hate her, but I hated what was going on, how it was destroying people. And my mom, I think, took it on very personal, like she had failed. They couldn't go and find her because, I mean, they had me and my brother, so they had jobs, so they couldn't exactly just take off. But I know that every time she was not in her normal, like going to school, coming home, they had to call the cops, and they made attempts like that. Like they were always interacting with the police and giving them updated photos to find her. Once they told us, I think she was found in Vancouver. Calgary.
But I was in Vancouver.
Yeah. She was found in a few different places. I don't remember all of them because all I really knew was like the cops were coming to get photos, and then next thing I know, my sister was home. They said that they found her. Anytime she came home, I mean, I tried to, be a good sister and like let her know like I was there, but she would always push me away, so it was very hard to try and talk to her because she always was closed off in her room when she was home. She wasn't there, and I didn't really understand it, so I think that's why it made me more sad, is like no matter what I tried, like it didn't seem to make a difference to her, so I think I was more sad about it, I guess.
I was a terrible sister, even before drugs. I really was. I feel
Not
so
always.
bad. Oh, I was. I hated you. I know. How stupid is that? I hated her. I wanted, but I mean, I commit a lot of transgressions against her. Yeah, like a lot. I guess it started around 6 years of age when I started really picking on her, and then and just more and more. So it's, you know, by the time I was 10, 11, 12, it's like I hated her guts. I just didn't want to see her. I was terrible. When I started using drugs, I wasn't as at home. You know, I was leaving more and more. So, you know, I didn't think about her. I didn't think about. I mean, I thought about my parents, but it was more because, you know, I was trying to hide it from them and make sure they didn't find me. I was a little more afraid of them finding me than my sister, of course, because, yeah, they have a car and she was younger. So.
They didn't know how to talk to her, and they were very hurt, and I could see that, and most of the time it was pretty much yelling matches that were going on, which would obviously make it worse for her, and she would leave again.
I tried to make sure they were as far away from me as possible. I didn't want to think about them. I didn't want to have a family. As messed up as that sounds.
As soon as things would like escalate, she was gone.
Because I knew I knew what I was doing was wrong, and that I knew what I wanted, or what I thought I wanted, was not right, that they would stop me, so, you know, I had to get away from them, and so that I didn't have to hear them all the time, or that they wouldn't prevent me or keep me indoors, etc.
I think my mom felt very alone and that she had failed, so she became very sad, like in a very depressive way. Like I think she took it the hardest, and it really, like, I don't know, it made her distant even with my brother.
Sorry. She tried to help a lot. Sorry.
You're gonna make me cry.
No, I could tell that she was really sad, and she wanted me to come home, and I could tell that she was blaming herself, and it wasn't her fault. And I could see that yeah, she was just trying anything, you know, anything to change my mind about leaving.
I didn't see her having a life. To me, I don't think any of us really thought much further than getting her home. That was it. That's as far as we saw, just to get her home.